Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Just a Millennial, episode 3. My name is Mike Cherub.
And this is Mikey Okendo.
And this is Just a Millennial.
Intro.
Welcome back from that wonderful intro. God, I wonder who made that. It was so great. The music and everything was just awesome. I don't know.
Somebody who toots their own horn.
I'm not tooting my own horn, but I loved every second of it. I love every second, every time I see it.
Who came up with that phrase? That's a weird...
That's right up there with whatever tinkers your bell, whatever floats your boat.
I've never heard that one. Tinkers your bell? That sounds like a weird euphemism to me.
It's kind of odd, but it's it's right there with whatever floats your boat. Funny story. I actually watched an episode of Mythbusters.
Really? Did they do that?
And they floated a paper boat on gas.
What?
They found a gas that was much more dense and wouldn't escape from an open air fish tank. They poured the gas in, folded the paper boat, set it down, and it stayed there.
What?
And what would happen is they took a cup, pretend like they were scooping out water, and it would go down. I was like, my mind was blown.
Because they were scooping out the gas.
I'm not going to say I'm going to put a link in here to it, but go find it. It is don't leave right now. No, not right now. No, stay here.
It's not that good.
I mean, it's great, but have your mind blown later or, during Face Off with Chris Fritcher or whatever. No big deal. He's not watching.
Right.
But anyway, so today's episode, we definitely want to hit on something that this could literally span probably the entire lifetime of our show. And that is your digital footprint. What is your digital footprint? What are you doing digitally to market? What is your website doing? Well, how are you driving traffic to your website? Are you accommodating your customers that are coming to your website looking for more than just your information? Are you driving people away with what you're putting out there online? All of those things are under your digital footprint. And there's no way that we can cover every single aspect in just 30 minutes, but darn it, we're going to try.
That's right, as we always do.
We always do.
I don't think we've ever actually been successful with covering like everything that we want to cover.
Pretty much.
But
that sounds about right.
It's ambition is what it is.
Yes.
It's what it is. That's
we're going to do a 3-hour show, and actually we have like 24 minutes left at this point. So
yeah, and we're completely wasting time. But that's okay. I mean, it's fun. Hopefully you laughed.
I'll kind of take the lead on this one. The first thing that I'm kind of gonna lead us into is obviously your website. That's one of your biggest presences online. It's what you're doing, with your website. Next, we'll go into socially. What is it you're doing? What is it you're not doing? What avenues are you on? Have you even driven up a certain avenue yet? How do you know if anything good is out there if you've never been down that street? That literally came off the top of my head.
That's cool. The street,
I'm not to toot my own horn. Like, I really don't toot my own horn, but that was like kind of mind-boggling.
None of this is scripted, so anything you hear.
True. This one definitely isn't scripted. And the last thing we definitely want to hit on is, digitally, what are you doing to accommodate your customers?
Or not doing.
Yeah, it is, or not doing.
Because that may be the case.
So the first thing we definitely want to hit on is, your websites. And, be prepared. This may sound like a gripe fest for the next minute, but something that absolutely drives me nuts in the automotive world is...
Does it grind your gears?
It grinds my gears. You know what really grinds my gears? When Lindsay Lohan is up on stage and she's just like there, just shaking her thing, and I'm just sitting here with my beer like, what? What do you want me to do? Totally just stole that from Family Guy.
Which is funny.
Sorry, Seth. I didn't mean to take it from you. But no, I get it. To an extent, I definitely get why this happens, but to the same extent, I don't. Why does every dealership have the same exact website? I mean, I'm all about continuity. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying if you own a group of 20 dealerships that you guys don't all have a continuous theme across all of yours. But for the love of everything.
There can't just be one dealership that has the same website everywhere.
Let me make this example. When you go to a restaurant and it's bad, And
like the food's bad?
And the food's bad, the service is bad, it's just not taken care of. So, like, they're literally just like towing the line of being shut down by the health department. Somehow you managed to go there because somebody told you it was the greatest thing in the world. You took the recommendation.
They worked there.
They're no longer a friend. You completely unfriended them on Facebook and stopped following them everywhere. But you send them feedback and tell them all this, and they then open 20 more locations in the surrounding areas to your city. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't.
Right.
So why is it? And it's kind of a monopoly to an extent because a lot of people buy their websites from the same company.
Yes.
And I'm not trying to bash that company, but for the love, these websites, I mean...
Is your website responsive? Let's just go down a simple checklist.
Oh.
Is your website responsive? Okay.
No.
Do you have a basic chat function? And the little sub question under that question, if you have a chat function, if I do something on it, if I message you, like, does anyone respond to me?
Actually, another sub question on that. Does your website ask me to chat with you 12 different times in my 5-minute visit?
But like in a pop-up, right?
Oh my God. You know, it pops up on the screen, then it shows up in the little corner down here.
Yeah.
And
it's like the paperclip guy from Microsoft.
Oh my gosh, nobody liked the paperclip. Think about that. Don't let your website be the Microsoft paperclip because nobody likes the paperclip.
We all remember him.
Oh my God, he's sitting on the screen next to us right now with that stupid smug smirk.
Just hit him.
Yeah, just You know, that's the end of the gripe fest, and now we're kind of gonna hit on it. You know, I understand why a lot of people buy, from these guys, and there's a lot of things that you guys have, especially in the dealership world. You have to have certain things on your website that's completely different than what Old Navy has, or H&M, or Finish Line, which all places that I shop online.
You need an inventory feed for your cars.
Absolutely,
that's unusual for most other industries.
And we were actually talking about this today in a meeting, and it seems like there's just sometimes that the automotive world always seems like it's just maybe a few too many years behind. Because like these websites would have been astounding, like back when I was still in high school in 2007, 2008. Like it would have been great. Like these things would have been cutting edge. And now you look at it, and everybody builds these clean, simple websites. They still have everything you need. It's all laid out perfectly. I've been to websites that are clean that have chat functionality. But that's the biggest thing. From a millennial standpoint, one of the biggest things, and probably one of the words you'll hear us use more than anything, is the word clean. When somebody asks me, what are you looking to do with this video? I want something clean and simple. Clean and simple. For the love of God, look at one of the biggest companies in the world.
You know where we're going.
And where we're going is Apple. Look at their logo.
But why does it work? Why is it that matters? Because think about just when we were kids, which is going to say something about our age, but you know that. Think about when we were kids, the type of internet that existed. Early 1990s, you know where I'm going. Early 1990s all the way up to early 2000s, but especially just 1990s. Think about how email, internet, everything digital functioned at the time. Wow, it was brutal. I mean, I'm talking about.
Oh my gosh!
You go online, you have that moving rainbow text, the random GIFs that are, you know what I'm talking about, embedded. You would have images on sites that weren't even appropriately sized. They were just randomly placed.
Oh my gosh!
Horrible. So why is it that we like simple and clean? I don't know. Maybe because we grew up with that and we want things to be simple and make sense and not have rainbow text floating on the screen with GIFs and loud noises. And think about the color schemes. You remember?
Oh my gosh, I was getting ready to say the color schemes were the worst thing in the world. It was like, it would be lime green with pink accents and black boxes and white text, and you're like, what?
Yeah, this is what we grew up with. This is what you probably dealt with in your business if you're older than us, trying to work with this. So, you think, why does it matter if it's simple? Well, because we're trying to distance ourselves as much as possible from that hideous history of, think about when you tried to browse the web back then. Why was it not fun? Well, sure, maybe because a lot of companies weren't on there and you couldn't really buy stuff, but maybe it was because you couldn't freaking find anything or you didn't know what to do. There was the user experience was awful.
I was gonna go with slow, but okay. We can go with that reason. Just thinking about some of that stuff.
It's so bad, isn't it?
Actually, perfect example, because I think somebody that used to work with us showed me this like a year ago when it still existed, was Space Jam. If you remember that movie.
Oh, yes.
The website still exists from when that movie came out in the late 90s, and it is still exactly the same. You ever want to be nostalgic for a bad reason, go look at that website. As nostalgic as I am about that movie, and I loved it, it is one of the most atrocious websites I've ever seen.
And we're not saying that your website is that bad. What we are saying is his point, simple, clean. Why is that important? It's important. Not you know you're the business owner. You're thinking about ROI. You're thinking about like, what can I get off of this? Websites can be expensive. Why should I invest in making it a little more simple for people to find something? Well, because people will buy more from you if it's easier to navigate your site. They will not click off of your site and go to the next dealer's website who may have a better one. This is actually very directly related to your sales. This is great ROI for you. This is great for your brand. This is great for your everything.
Take for example, if you go to let's just say you go to Amazon, and
what you do,
Amazon, you're just looking up Star Wars. And yeah, I mean, that's, dear Lord, you're getting back 4 million different possible search results at that point. Yeah. But let's just say you do that, and Star Wars is obviously still a huge thing right now, even up to this point, which, on a complete side note, I'm really hoping they shatter Avatar's record of like 2.7 million in the box office.
They haven't already?
They are at like, at the time of this video, I think they're on the cusp of breaking 2 billion, and it's not even probably 4 or 5 weeks in total by the time you guys are seeing this.
I hope they beat it too.
I'm hoping they break it, and I hope they shatter it. Disney made one of the best investments in the world because they paid $4 billion to own the Star Wars franchise, not counting the merchandise they made alone in Christmas. Oh my gosh. Like, that's insane. They're building Star Wars Land, which I don't like going to Disney, but I might just go to Disney for Star Wars Land.
Yes.
That would lightsaber fights in the street. Let's do it. But not to get back on topic, but let's just say you go and you type Star Wars, and all of a sudden you have no way of narrowing those 4 million results down.
Ooh.
How frustrating would that be? I want you to think about that. And there's places that I've done it on where you go to, I'm a drummer, and right up there, some drum companies' websites are atrociously laid out. Their color schemes are horrible. You know, you try to look for something, but you end up having to click through like 12 different subcategories just to find what you're looking for. And it's like, oh, no. But, you know, are we telling you right now you need to take a step back? You need to literally pull your website down, hire somebody, and have them spend the next 120 hours building you a brand new one? No, but there's different aspects that you could look at it. You know,
small changes.
Ease of use is one of the biggest ones. Not just even for millennials. Millennials, we can probably go to one of the most complex websites if you tried to bury stuff, and I bet we could probably find it.
This is for older people.
This is for older people. This is for people that aren't tech savvy. They need to be able to find stuff. Not that they're necessarily going to buy a car online, but what if they're sitting with their grandchildren, or their children for that matter, anybody of any age, even, you know, the boomers, the Gen Xers, the Gen Ys, whatever age group you want to throw out there, there's a good chance that at some point in time they're going to visit your website. And I think the best question is, what does your website say about you? Does it say that you're part of the cookie cutter dealership, that every other dealership has a website like yours? Or does your website say, we care about our customer experience, we care about ease of use, we care about our appeal to our customers, and we want to make this simple? Whether that customer is literally just coming on your website to find your address, which they probably somehow skipped the Google address,
right?
Which, that's another thing. Make sure your address is updated and your hours are updated in Google.
Yes.
Make sure. Because that was the most frustrating thing in the world, was going to Taco Bus. When they said they closed at 10, it was 9:20, and they were all shut down. I was mad, and I really wanted some Taco Bus. But that's one of the biggest things. I go to dealers' websites on a daily basis, and it drives me crazy.
Well, sure, because if you claim, which most dealers do, and a lot of them do a great job of this, but if you claim that you are different, you always hear people saying this, not just dealers, but business owners in general. You hear people saying, we're different in some way, shape, or form. Our customer experience is better for this reason. We have a great company culture. We put effort into making our customers feel like they're treated well and that they're special. If you say that, let's say on TV, radio, and all of your other marketing efforts, but then on your website they get there and that's not evidenced because it doesn't look like you're any different from anyone nearby. You say you're different, but it doesn't reflect in your actions online. And you say, well, sure it does, because my actions in marketing and online, it reflects there. Well, great, but marketing sends people to your website. And if you haven't made your website what it should be, well, why are you even spending the money on the marketing? Because at the end of the day, they're going to judge you on if you're different or not, largely based off of that. And he just made a great point. A lot of people seem to think that you should just make websites great for millennials. Like, we're the ones who care about the design. We're the ones who care about the clean look and the cool logo and the great color scheme and the nice images. Honestly, like he said, we can navigate almost anything because of the fact that we're digital natives and we're used to this. We grew up with it. We can figure things out. The people you're doing this for probably are not the ones you thought of. It's the ones who are older. It's the
not even my grandmother for that matter. I mean, my mom for that matter. I mean, if
my mom too.
Oh, I mean, it's just, you know, and it's crazy to think that, you know, millennials are the ones that are saying you need to make stuff simpler. I'm not saying you need to make a flat logo and you can only have 2 colors in your logo and things like that. Look, you guys work and sell products that's on, you know, Kia, Nissan, Infinity, whatever. You know, we can go down the list.
Right.
But we're not saying that your logo is what's key. It helps, don't get me wrong. It's definitely an aid. But your website just, I can't tell you, you know, you go to the bottom and I won't name the company because, you know, we're not about that.
But you see it.
But you see at the bottom of the website, powered by blah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that, you know, what they do is a bad thing. I'm not saying that by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm saying if you go to, let's just say 50 dealerships in your state and 35 of those look exactly like yours, I mean, for a customer that's just looking at you guys online, what's really going to make you stand out?
And
your big old smile that's on your picture? Is that what's going to, the little video that plays in the front?
No, that is it. That's going to do it. The
totally.
video? Yeah, no, their smile. Yeah. That's definitely going to do it.
It's just, in a digital world, you know, we are overwhelmed with digital everywhere.
A lot of it's crappy quality.
I wake up in the morning and I delete no less than 30 emails every morning during my morning routine.
Why do you do that, by the way?
Because I know exactly who's sending me stuff. You know, some of them are work related. Like I get a couple of them every night at midnight that are just reports that I check really quick to make sure nothing bad's going wrong with my stuff.
You don't want to waste your time with the rest of them.
But I'm not going to waste my time.
Because your time is valuable.
I can name off a few of them. Old Navy's one, Guess is another. You know, these are all like, you know, retail stores. But I look at my phone and see who it is, and it's just like swipe, 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 swipe. That's an interesting question. Are you getting swiped away? And that's kind of a quick segue because we're only going to be able to hit on this based on my little wristwatch timer.
Wow.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time on websites.
Well, it's good though. It's very important.
But we won't go into the full social aspect. But, you know, let me ask this question is, are your email blasts that you're sending out, whether you're going through another company or you're doing your own database mailers, are you just getting swiped away?
And if so, why are people not replying to you? There's a reason for it. And like my reason for it is probably because I don't want to have my time wasted. My time is very important.
Yeah.
That's, I think, what most millennials' points are. A lot of times people seem to think that it's just because, well, you didn't do good enough image design, or, well, the CTA wasn't compelling enough. Like, you'll hear all this marketing jargon thrown at you from your marketing manager, which is fine. Like, you have to have calls to action. You have to have good design. All of those things are important. But why else might it be important? Like, that's great, your design of it. But what if your content's just not compelling enough? What if there's just no value add? Like, there's really no secret magic dust or anything for your website or anything. All of this is about value, and that you hear that term all the time, but seriously, what does that mean to you? Like, if it's a value add to your life, ultimately it means that it's worth my time. Like, you know, if we're talking about marketing and you're talking about interruptions and, like, you know, I heard somebody ask the question recently, is it ever okay to interrupt somebody online, like with ads or something? And the answer was,
savings.
You can't skip this Geico ad because it's already over. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Oh,
You see how annoying? You see how annoying that is? You see how irritating that is? Now imagine that is your website, your email blast, whatever. No, you never. Pop-up ads. Pop-up ads needed to die 15 years ago when they were flashing boxes that said you were the 1 millionth customer on the website. Those needed to die a long time ago. Oh, don't make anything that pops up.
Because they don't have value, because at the end of the day, all you should put, this is just a general rule of thumb for anything you do digitally. Don't do anything that doesn't add value, which I keep saying that over and over again. I'm trying to reiterate it because it's important. It's not an ambiguous phrase that doesn't mean anything. It's not just something that a guru said that sounds nice, but it's like, oh yeah, there's no actually actionable thing that you can do on that. No, there is. All you have to do is think. First of all, you have to actually think about what your customers want. That's something for one. But then you have to think about, okay, what do they want? Now, how can I deliver on that in a way that doesn't annoy them, that actually adds something to their life? What can I do? What kind of email can I send somebody that's actually going to make their day better, more valuable, that's going to build and add on to their life? How can I give them tips about something? Can I...
I'll tell you one thing, and I'm sure a lot of dealerships do this, but I would even say to take it another mile. One of the reasons that I still open my emails from, let's just say AutoNation, I won't say which one specifically that I bought my car from, but one of the main reasons I do it is I know every 3 months I have to go get an oil change, and I know at the bottom of every single one of their emails is 20% off service. Take the extra step. Hit your service drive.
Sure.
Find the ones that it's coming up on that point. I'm not saying every single time, but when he says add value, send them an email that says, look, we know you've got an oil change coming up, or we know that you need a tire rotation. I'll tell you what, come in and do a tire rotation, we'll do your oil change for $10.
Right, and that's simple.
Something to entice me to come in. I know what I'm going to pay if I'm just going to get an oil change, but if you tell me, look, if you come in, we know you need to get your tires rotated, and you kind of say, look, for another $15, we'll do your oil change. It's not going to be whatever it normally costs. I'm coming in, and I'm a millennial. I don't like going at 7 o'clock on a Saturday morning to get my car worked on, but I will.
You got to do it.
If I'm enticed to do it, I'll do it. I'll wake up early and go do it. Yes, to save those few extra dollars. And especially in this day and age where couponing is such a huge, huge thing, to the point that I'm an IT manager, and to the point that I constantly have to clean my relatives' computers off because they think that every couponing website's toolbar that goes on Internet Explorer is the safest thing in the world. Let's not even go there.
But let's think about the logic behind this. Like, that was a perfect, tangible example of why this is important and how it's supposed to look like. So let's think about, okay, so if you're one of the people who said just now, like, okay, yeah, let's add value, that's kind of a really intangible thing that's not really an actionable business method that you could put into practice. Well, let's look at this example. That was a tangible example of value. Ask the question, why was that valuable? Why did he care if that was valuable? It was valuable to him because, well, for a couple of reasons. It saved you money. It saved you time potentially because, you get some contact information, you can reach out, book an appointment, which is something you may already do anyway, but now you know that you're saving money, which is important to you.
I'll tell you one other thing, because we're running out of time. And this actually is not even in the automotive world. Not even in it. It's a church. If you ever want to look them up, it's called Elevation Church. They're based out of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Huge.
I love their band. I love their team, everything. I've been to the church actually twice. Once when I was at a conference in North Carolina, and once when I was actually on vacation with my wife. And I loved it. It seems like such an odd thing for me to reference a church when it comes to, I guess you could say quote unquote customer experience. But, they give you a free shirt, they do all this different stuff. And I'm not going to jump into that because that's not what I'm aiming for. But what was funny is I moved out a year and a half ago. I moved out of my parents' house and finally moved to my own place. And I came over, we do a family night and we kind of rotate whose house is that. And I came over and my mom hands me something from the mail and it's December. They had actually sent me a birthday card, not a templated card. Like somebody had taken the time to handwrite a card to me for my birthday. And
you could tell the difference between that and like a printed, handwritten card.
Oh no, this was handwritten, and I was like, holy crap, they remembered. You know what that...
And by the way,
how
big is that church, by the way?
They have 12 campuses right now. They're expanding to 15. They run 4 services at every single campus.
Like, how many people do you think go there?
Roughly each campus can hold, I think, anywhere between 1,000 and 1,500 people per one. So
if they can do it at that scale...
I will throw a crazy number at you. They do, for the last 3 weeks, they take up all their offerings and everything, and they ask for people to also put money into what they can use for the next year's budget for outreach. And over a 3-week period, they had $7.3 million given just for missions work. So this place is no joke, but they have figured out certain things like that. And Bob Berg actually tells you handwritten thank you cards, handwritten notes, things like that can mean the world to somebody.
It's a value add.
It sets you apart from so many other people. I bought my phone case, and we really have to wrap this up. But I bought my phone case. It's a wood, at the back of it's real wood, and then it's got a rubber edging. It's a company called Carved. Carved.com, I think, and it's CARVD, if I remember correctly. It's not like the full word. But in that package, when I received the phone case, it had really nice packaging, was a handwritten thank you card, and it was signed by their entire team. And I was like, they took their time to have everybody sign it, and it wasn't that digitally printed one. I'm sure at some point in time, everybody sat there with a stack of 100 cards and signed over and over and over and over again, but they took the time to do that, and that value added to a customer, they see it, especially in a world where everybody gets emails. I see every single ad on Instagram, every 5 posts by somebody. You know, I see so many things on Twitter. No matter how many times I tell it, I did not like that stupid ad. It still keeps coming back. Twitter, fix that. Can you get on that? You know, Snap, anywhere. You're just inundated with all these digital ads. And, you know, it's almost like we're yearning for mail, you know, physical pieces of mail again, because it's such a rare thing now. It's like...
Well, because we know how easy and how little effort it takes to make a digital ad. I've done design work for ads before. I've not only done the design work, I've activated campaigns, I've run the whole deal before. And even if you haven't done that, even if you're not a marketer and you haven't done that, people have this sense, they kind of understand that digital is cheap. Not just in the sense that literally digital is cheap. If you're a marketer, like, digital is really cheap for you to do, which is great. That's why a lot of people do it, and it is important. But it's cheap in the sense that it's easy to do. It takes hardly any effort. If you have a good designer, they can crank out stuff very rapidly, very quickly. You can just click a button, activate, target your group. It's not personal. It's easy. So there's a cheapness to it in that sense. Yeah. With something like that, it's not cheap, not only because you actually had to print something up and that's expensive, but it's not cheap because you know that people put their time in it. As you said, you know at some point, somebody sat down, signed a whole bunch of these cards. That means something. That speaks to the type of organization that is filled with people who are willing to take time to do that. That is action that reflects the fact that you care about your customers. That's really what it is.
So... on the screen, you can follow us at JAM_ATN. You can find us on that. Also, we definitely want to hear from you guys. Send us your ideas, your topics, your comments, your concerns. Will, Mikey, I know that, you know, it seems like I changed clothes and we shot, but, you know, the way that we work is we shoot a few episodes at a time. Obviously, we're not live because you guys all know I'm the guy that's running the show, technically on the interwebs. But find out, you know, I believe we are a digital dealer technically right now as you guys are watching this. So tune in next week, because whether or not you guys voted on that poll is indicative of the fact of whether that mustache is here next week.
That's true.
But email us at jam@autotainmentnetwork.com. Send us your comments, your feedback. Find us on social media. You can find us just about everywhere. On that note, I am Michael Cherub.
And this is Mikey Okendo.
This has been episode 3. And yeah. Stay tuned for next week, because the stuff we're doing with Digital Dealer, it's going to be fun.
That's right. Till next time.
We out.